Hello, I'm Dr. Hassan Tauheed, and today we'll talk about how to write the discussion section of a research article. If you ask any scientist who's working on a research article, he will probably tell you that the most difficult part of a research article is the discussion section. But trust me, if you follow what I'm telling you, it will become very easy for you, and it will never be difficult. So let's talk about this. So what is a discussion section? First of all, before we write a discussion section, we need to know what is a discussion section. Discussion section actually is the interpretation of your results. So how do you do that? When you're writing a discussion section, you must do interpretation that what exactly the results mean. So what do the results mean? The interpretation and analysis of your findings. So write it down. Meaning. What are the meanings of your results? What are the explanations of this result or these results? So the meaning of the results or the findings, the explanation and the interpretation of your results. So you are explaining and giving the interpretation, explaining further, enhancing and giving more details of what this result actually is saying or suggesting. And you also do some analysis. Now, what is the analysis? This is also analysis. When you're doing this, this is analysis. But remember, analysis also actually means comparison. When you compare your findings with each other, if there are multiple findings, you compare your findings with each other, that is also analysis. If you compare your findings with previously published papers, that is also analysis. So you do that as well. So when you write a discussion section, you already, let's say, have the results. If you have done an experiment, you have the results. Now, multiple results are there. So you compare them together, that's analysis. And you explain what each result actually means. You further elaborate, further expand on it. That's enhancing or explaining or giving the interpretation of your discussion of your results section. This is what you're writing in your discussion section. And then you are comparing the results with each other or comparing the results with previously published papers, previous experiments, what other people have done. So you include that in your discussion section. Now, will the discussion section have tables and figures? Absolutely. You should bring some tables and figures. They will make it pretty. They will make it look better. So you bring it. Now, what about the headings? Do we bring some headings in discussion section? Absolutely. You bring some headings, you bring some subheadings. And the number of words, decide the number of words of your discussion section before you write it down. So let's say you are writing a paper of 3,000 words, 15% is your introduction. So 15% to 20% is your introduction section. Now, 400 words will be your method and results. 400 method, 400 results, 400 conclusion. Now, the remaining number of words will be your discussion section. So now you can divide into paragraphs. You want 6 paragraphs, 8 paragraphs, 9 paragraphs. And if you have 8 paragraphs, can you just give 4 headings? That's it, and 2 paragraphs per heading, and you have a very good discussion section ready. Now, once you have done this, is your discussion section completed? No. You still need one more thing. Limitations. Write down the limitation, the weaknesses of your paper. People will respect you for that if you have limitations mentioned in your paper. Write down the limitations and weaknesses of your discussion, of your paper at the bottom of the discussion with a heading, separate heading of limitation, or without a heading, just mention as the last paragraph. And before you jump on the conclusion section. So this is how you write a discussion section. Now, how many references? It's up to you. As many references as you want to insert. You want 20 references, 30, 40 references in your discussion section, that's fine. Because there will be no references in the conclusion section, right? If you remember, I discussed that in the video. And in the introduction, you will have like 8 to 20 references. So the remaining comes in the discussion, mainly. Some go into method and results, but if it's a systematic review or experiment. But if it's a traditional review, you don't need method and results, remember? So this is how you do it. This is how you write a discussion section. So remember, organizing is the key. Organization is the key. Organize your data first, reorganize it, reorganize it. Now divide it into headings that, okay, these will be the headings of my discussion section. And hopefully when you already collected data, you already had made your outline. So you have the outline ready, you have the headings, you have the subheadings. Now you start writing your paper by writing the details. Now one more thing. If it's an experiment, you have your results and findings that you did in the lab. But if it's a systematic review or traditional review, the papers you collected for your review articles are your results. So you will compare one paper with another in the discussion section of a review article or a systematic review. But you will not compare them with an experiment, because there is no experiment. You haven't done any experiment out there for traditional reviews or systematic reviews. But if you have an experiment done or an observational study done, and now you have the findings, you have the results, now you compare the findings with each other, and you compare your findings with other people's findings, and then you explain it, expand it, you give a comparison. Now, what do you do in the comparison? Why our findings are better than others, or why other findings are better than ours? Why our study can have bias, why the other study is stronger, why our study is weaker, or why the other study is weaker, why our study is stronger. I mean, don't just don't just say bad things about other people's papers. Say natural good things, that yes, they had better paper. People will respect you for that. People will not respect you for that if you praise your paper, that our paper is the best. Without any evidence, you keep saying that, and you're saying bad things about somebody else's paper. No, this is not a researcher. Researcher doesn't work like that. Researcher will give honest opinion that my paper has these weaknesses, so my findings could be wrong because of the bias as well. But their paper had less bias, so they have a different finding. Or maybe they have the same finding, but we had some bias, they did not have bias. Or they had bias, we did not have bias. Maybe our studies are better, maybe their studies are better, maybe this study is better, maybe that study is better. When you compare two studies together, this study is better, that is better. This study is not good, this study is good. So this is how you do a comparative analysis. Like a sports team analysis. You see on ESPN, you see the experts talking about two sports teams, that why one team is better than the other. Even if the results are same, let's say both teams score 2 goals and the game is a tie. At the end, the experts are saying why team A performed better than team B. Why Germany performed better than Brazil in this game, and why Brazil performed better in this game than Germany. Because this happened, they kept ball possession more than the others, something like that. Same thing with the research articles. When you're comparing your findings with other people, you do some similar kind of analysis. When you're comparing 2 papers together, you do the similar kind of analysis. So this is how you write the discussion section. Watch this video again. It was a very interesting video. I have given as much detail as I could in a very short span of time. So I hope you will enjoy this video. Take notes, watch the video again, and start working on your discussion section. And if you have any question, comment below. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a good day. Keep watching. Keep learning.